Today, I'm recapping the Sunday night and Monday night football games, and we're going to be previewing NFL Week 5 on this edition of the Shumake Take. Let's get it. All right, and welcome in everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic, fantabulous, awesome freaking day. My name is Garrett Shumake, and you are listening to the Shumake Take. This is Shumake Take episode number 17, and we got a nice one to talk about today. A nice one, I guess. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice talking about football. The content is nice. It's fun. But we got to recap Sunday Night Football, the Monday Night Football doubleheader, which was pretty interesting, if I do say so myself. And then we're going to recap NFL Week 5. So pretty simple, pretty easy show today. As you can tell, I'm wearing a shirt I've never really worn. I haven't worn this shirt in God knows in how long. It's a nice little lavender shirt I got at a Bell's Outlet one day for like $10. I saw it and I was like, this is really cool. The back's pretty cool too. But I like it. It's comfortable. I don't know why I wear this more often. I don't know. I might wear it tomorrow. I'm going to a friend's house tomorrow, so I'll maybe wear it over there. Hang out. But other than that, there is some little updates. First off, I'm sorry that this is coming out a little later or a day late. Right now, as I'm recording this video, the Bucks and the Falcons are playing, and I'm currently missing this game. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to catch all of it. Obviously, I'm not going to catch all of it, but I don't even know if I'm going to be able to catch the first half. Because right after this one, I'm going to be doing Shumake Take Rants 10. So I'm going to be recording back-to-back videos, which is tough. It's going to be tough on my voice. But we're going to get there, and if you don't, well, oh my god, my brain just blanked, because I just recorded the intro for both this episode and Rants 10, and there is going to be a change to Rants 10, so originally it was going to be about the quarterback draft classes being overhyped, but I thought about it, and I was like, it's way too early to talk about that. It's not even relevant at this point in time. No one's thinking about the draft, well, unless you're like the Carolina Panthers, but it's a topic that's not relevant right now. So instead, I'm gonna reflect on every other team, every team so far this year, and kind of give my one word explanation for each one. And going through it when I was making the script today, it was pretty interesting. Like when I was thinking about it, there's a couple rehashes in there, but I think it's a more relevant topic. So there's that. It's a little bit reflective, because there's some things that have happened this season so far that no one has expected. Obviously, the Minnesota Vikings are one of them. But there's a couple that I had in my own record predictions that aren't coming to fruition, that are very disappointing to me, at the very least. But that's for Rants 10, which I'm going to record right after this one. But right now, we got to talk about Sunday Night Football. The Baltimore Ravens defeated the Buffalo Bills 35-10, and the Bills fall back to earth hard. They came back slamming down to earth. Well, I'm not going to be too dramatic and make it sound like it's a big thing. Like, oh, okay, they lost 35-10 against the Baltimore Ravens. They're as bad and taking a step back as everybody thought they would. What the? No, it's not that. But here's the thing. Watching this game, they couldn't adjust. They struggled to pass. They tried to run the ball. Couldn't do it. They missed a field goal in this game. Operationally, this game was a mess. It was an absolute mess for the Buffalo Bills. In the third quarter, they had a big 52-yard touchdown to Khalil Shakir, I think it was. That was a nice play. But outside of that, there really wasn't anything for the Bills. There really wasn't anything there. And I know that a couple defensive players are currently hurt right now. I think one got hurt in this game. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. But not to mention that Von Miller also got suspended a couple days ago at the time of recording of this video. And that's unfortunate. It hasn't been revealed exactly why. It's because of violating personal conduct. What did he do to get that suspension? I have no idea. But he's suspended for 4 games. So to a defense that's already missing a couple pieces, that sucks. That hurts. And, the big takeaway from this game for the Bills is that the Bills have always have these games every year. There's always 1 to 2 games where, like, they just absolutely get their butts kicked and just crap the bed. Like, they're just a couple couple games every year where it's just like, what the heck is this team doing? The same thing relies for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are the exact same way, where they have a good football team, and they couple games, they'll lose to a team that they should probably beat, and then they just kind of crap the bed. This case, obviously the Bills, I'm not going to say like the Bills are much better than the Ravens, obviously not, but these two teams are pretty neck and neck. But this is a weird case. Like, you don't see like a highly anticipated matchup like this against two really good football teams end up in this scenario. But as I said, the Bills always, a couple games a year have these games where they should be competitive, or they should probably beat the opponent, and they just don't show up. And then in the NFL that happens. In the NFL that happens. You work all week game planning, and more often than not, it's not even because like one team is necessarily better than the other. I mean, roster-wise, the Baltimore Ravens are better than the Buffalo Bills, but I mean, team-wise, they're pretty close. I would say, like, you face these teams 10 times. I mean, I'd be willing to bet like 8 out of 10 times they face off. I mean, it's a one-score game for sure, but there's just some times where you get a good game plan and it works. You get a really good game plan, it works, and it's very effective, and the other team struggles to adjust because of it. But for Bills fans, don't panic. For any NFL fan out there, that's worried about the Bills, don't panic. Don't panic, please. Because here's the deal. The Bills started off 3-0. They were destroying their opponents. Week one, it didn't destroy the Arizona Cardinals, but they scored a lot of points, and they were really good in that game offensively. And obviously, week 2 against the Dolphins, they were great. Week 3 against Jacksonville, they were even greater. But this is no need to panic. The Bills have shown that they're a really good football team. And despite everyone thinking that they're going to take a step back, they're showing that they haven't. They haven't taken a step back at all. The offense hasn't slowed down much, if any. The defense has been up and down, but it's been mostly good. It's been mostly consistent. But as I said, a lot of that is due to, a lot of new players in there. A lot of the secondary, like Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, they're all gone. Well, I think Micah Hyde's still there, Matt Milano's done for the year. And so there's a couple, there's a lot of new faces on that defense, let alone the guys that have already gotten injured or gotten suspended, like Von Miller, or gotten injured, like Matt Milano. So, this defense is it's got new faces. It's trying to figure out what exactly they do best at. They're trying to figure out, how all those pieces gel together, if you will, compared to the Bills' offense, which has a little bit more consistency and has a little bit more continuity with the players that are there playing together. But this is no need to panic. The Bills are going to be just fine. This is just a game where they just got beat really bad. Like I said, this happens a couple times a year for the Bills. It always happens. This is nothing new. Is it disappointing? Does it suck? Yes, because I think I had the Bills winning this game, and I thought this was going to be a lot more competitive game, and it wasn't. And especially on primetime, that sucked. But most primetime games this year have sucked for the most part. But for the Ravens, going into our winning team, the Ravens have found their identity. And why do I say they found their identity? And so you're probably telling me in the comments, Garrett, the Ravens' identity has always been to run the football. And I would tell you, yes, you are correct. But here's the thing. What the Baltimore Ravens offense has always done best is run the football. But outside of that, you know what they really do good at, probably better than anybody in the league? Utilizing their running backs. Getting production and utilizing their running backs. People don't talk about it enough of the Baltimore Ravens. Their running backs, like their committee is one of the best committees in the NFL. Obviously, last year it was different without Derrick Henry there. But with Derrick Henry there, he's getting the bulk of the carries. But you got guys like Justice Hill. And then, oh my God, what's his name? I can't remember their third string back. I can't remember for the life of me. Oh my God. It's not Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards is gone. J.K. Dobbins is obviously gone. Shoot. I can't remember who it is for the life of me. Someone let me know in the comments. I'm sorry. But they get good production, not only out of the running game out of these guys, but out of the passing game too. Justice Hill had 70 receiving yards in this game for Baltimore. And that's where I say their identity's always been their running backs. And early on in the year, they've tried to get their receivers involved. They've tried to get them the ball, and it hasn't worked. The receivers aren't separating. The only person or player that's getting open is Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews hasn't done a thing. He's a ghost out there right now. And Isaiah Likely hasn't done next to anything since week 1. I mean, and other receivers like Nelson Aguilar, he's not doing anything. Rashad Bateman hasn't done anything. And it's frustrating and disappointing, but that's how the Ravens offense is. That's how it is. And how this offense does best when their running backs are producing. Whether it's Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, and then Zay Flowers, and anyone else in the receiving game that decides to step up for that week, it's just a plus. But the Ravens have always utilized their running backs, in my opinion, better than anybody in football, just about. And now that we have a running back that can gain a ton of yards and really, drive the narrative of Baltimore running the football down home, driving that narrative home and staying true to what the Ravens are, Derrick Henry has helped revitalize that. And here's the thing, Derrick Henry, speaking of him, he's the best running back in the NFL still. He's the best running back in the NFL still. Can we please admit that? And it's interesting how people talked about Derrick Henry in the offseason, because while he was in his final years with Tennessee, people said he was washed. He was done. And then when he left, people were like, what's Tennessee doing? That's their identity. And that's a different conversation for another day. But Derrick Henry is still the best running back in football. There's no doubt about that. There is simply no doubt about that. No other running back in the NFL will go for 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, and come a yard short for having the most 200-yard games by a running back ever. He has 6. Last night he almost had 7. And for Jim Harbaugh, boo. Boo. He pulled him out of the game too early. I know he fumbled on the goal line near the end of the game, I think it was, but Jesus Christ, you got to give him the ball and get that record. For Derrick Henry, that dude will fall for 4 yards. He doesn't even have to run for a yard. He'll fall for 4 yards. And you're not going to give that to him and let him break the record? Come on, man. You got to give it to him. Whether you like Derrick Henry or not, whether you're a fan of running backs or not, whatever it is, you got to appreciate what Derrick Henry has done in his career. And tonight, he had 199 yards. Well, not tonight, but in this game, he had 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, going absolutely insane. No running back in the NFL is doing that right now. No one. No running back in the NFL is doing that right now. And as I said, best running back in the NFL. And that's pretty much it for the Baltimore Ravens offense. I mean, they played really well. Derrick Henry had he had an 87-yard touchdown run in this game as well. That was really fun to see, and he looked like prime Derrick Henry again, which is awesome. He's always been there. But the narratives about him through the offseason kind of made things a little bit different. But he's still the best running back in the NFL, and the Ravens have found their identity, and it's utilizing their running backs properly and effectively. And for the defense, after repeating myself so much about this offense, they finally found some ground. They finally found some consistency. They played a great game all around, got consistent pressure. And I don't think this defense in general is going to be as good as years past with Mike McDonald and other DCs along over there, like with Wink Martindale. But here's the thing. If this game is any indicator, that means this unit can still be very good by year's end. Is it going to be the elite top 10 unit or top 5 unit that it's been? No. It's not going to be that this year, unfortunately, at least in my opinion. But it's definitely going to be, it's at the very least, a top half defense. That's a good. I mean, I don't know what to say else to say there, but I mean that's good. I mean, does it suck that you go from a top 5 defense to maybe just above average? Sure, but I mean the Ravens don't need an elite defense in order to win a lot of games. Because here's the thing: whether you like Lamar Jackson or not, he's gonna put points on the board. He's gonna produce and he's gonna play well almost every single game. You can bank on that. You can bet on that. So, I mean, the defense, sure, it's nice having all the talented players that they have. But, I mean, Lamar Jackson is what makes this team, he's what makes the Ravens the Ravens. Flat out, it is what it is. And as long as this offense is producing fine, I think this defense is going to be okay. Like I said, this defense is not going to be a bad unit. And, they've been up and down these first few weeks of the year. But then, Here, week 4 against Buffalo, against a good offense, a really good offense at that, they shut them down. They completely shut them down, and as I said, if that's any indicator, this defense is still going to be very good by year's end. It's only 4 weeks in, and I think the Baltimore Ravens defense is going to be fine. I mean, I know one game doesn't make or break anything, but that does give you some hope that this team is still going to be good. It's still going to be, a Super Bowl. I don't know. At this point, Super Bowl contender might be a little bit hot of a take, but they were in the AFC Championship last year, so you got to bank on it until it ain't there. So we'll have to see about that. But enough repeating myself about this game and the narratives. We got to talk about the 2 Monday Night Football games. We're going to talk about the one that was objectively worse, and then we're going to talk about the one that was objectively better. But the one that was objectively worse was the Titans and the Dolphins. And here's the deal. This game was bad. When you're looking at this stat line, or this box score, 31-12, you would think the Titans absolutely beat the ever-living daylights out of the Dolphins. And you would be wrong. You would be dead wrong. Why? Because this game was 9-3 at halftime, and throughout almost into the fourth quarter, it was 9-6. This game was an absolute snooze fest to watch. And I was watching it in between the Lions and Seahawks game along with this. And God, I almost turned this game off. Because it was so boring to watch. But here's the thing. The Titans finally got a win. They were 0-3. They got their first win. And this was a very ugly game for them. Here's the thing. The Titans, shout out to Tony Pollard. He ran the ball a lot in this game. They ran the ball a ton in general in this game. He got a touchdown. And this was the only thing they were able to do. This passing game was non-existent. Will Levis went out in the first quarter with an injury, trying to dive for a first down. Landed on his shoulder really hard. And went out. Backup Mason Rudolph came in, finished out the game. But he only threw for 80-something yards. He did nothing in this game. And if my memory is correct, he threw only one pass, or completed one pass in the second half. I think he only threw 3 passes. And other than that, Titans defense showed out, and this Titans defense is good. I just knocked my desk on my table, I just did that. But this Titans defense is good. This Titans defense is really good. And now, to be fair, they've gone up against a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams, Aaron Rodgers, which this Jets team has been very up and down. You went up against Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers, which absolutely decimated you. And then you're going up against a backup quarterback and Tyler Huntley, who's only been there for a couple weeks. So it's not like they're playing a lot of really good quarterbacks at all. But, I mean, they held him to less than 100 yards passing, and you shut down Tyreek Hill, you shut down Jalen Waddle, and they showed out. Shout out to Titans rookie defensive tackle, T'Vondre Sweat. He made a big impact in this game. Had 2 big tackles for losses, had 6 total tackles in this game. And I talked about T'Vondre Sweat and when I made my draft videos way back in April and May. And I was worried about T'Vondre Sweat because of his ability, or his lack of ability to play a ton of snaps, his conditioning, and of course his commitment to football with, the accident, or not the accident, or whatever. I can't remember exactly what he did, but it was some road issue, something like that before the draft. I can't remember. I apologize. But he's played great. He played great in this game. Looking at his PFF grades, he's playing incredible. And without Jeffrey Simmons in this game, he showed out. The Titans were also without Will Levis. Were they out with anybody else? I don't think so. No, they weren't really. But they showed out, and this defense is a lot better than I think people thought. And it's only a shame that this offense isn't good enough. And that's something that we'll have to look at because Will Levis in this game, he threw another bad interception. He threw another really terrible interception, threw it to a defensive lineman. Apparently, looking at the film, DeAndre Hopkins was running a little button hook, try to, turn, sit down, and the defensive lineman went back and sat on it, and Will Levis stared him down and threw it right to him. And then after, people were able to see him reading his lips and we saw that he said he didn't see him. And oh my gosh. Now here's the thing. That's his 9th turnover. He leads the NFL in turnovers. But giving it some thought. Over the past few days, giving it some thought about how Will Levis has played this year. Other than the fact that he's on a generational meme run, which is why you should start him the rest of the year alone, because the memes are absolutely hilarious right now. They're hilarious. But the thing with Will Levis is, right now, this reminds me a lot. Now that I think about it, it reminds me a lot, an awful lot, of Jordan Love last year. Because his situation was somewhat similar. He had new pieces around him, first year as a starter, and showed some promise here and there, showed some doubt here and there in his brief time starting and playing before. And the first half of the year for Jordan Love last year was pretty darn bad. They were like 3-6, 3-7. They were almost out of playoff contention. And then the second half of the year, they just came on and got hot, made the playoffs, and now Jordan Love, it got him a contract that I don't think he deserves right now. I'm sorry, he doesn't. But he played really good and then won a playoff game, decimated the Dallas Cowboys. They haven't been the same since. And then gave the 49ers almost all they could handle. And going into seeing Jordan Love, how he's played so far this year in the 2 games he's played, you can see the improvement. You can see that he's built off of what he's done last year to a certain extent. And granted, it's only 2 games. And last week against the Vikings, he came back rusty because he had missed the 2 games. So the sample size is not big by any means. But looking at him in the eye test, he passes. He passes the eye test. And going into this year, the big thing for the Titans, going back to them, was what do you have in Will Levis? And the thing is, a lot of people are saying that he needs to be benched for Mason Rudolph after Mason Rudolph won. And the thing is, well, you got to start Will Levis. You have to, because 4 games isn't enough to tell you, okay, this is what you got in him, this is what you don't. Is it true that he sucks right now? Yes, it most certainly does. But everyone was saying the same thing about Jordan Love. Everyone was saying the same thing about Trevor Lawrence in 2022. And guess what? Both of those quarterbacks went on to have great second halves of the year, and they end up making the playoffs. And I'm not saying that's going to happen in Tennessee. That's not going to happen in Tennessee. They're not making the playoffs this year. But to say that, Will Levis sucks and he's done and he needs to be benched, and I was one who even said that he might need to be benched, but we just need to be more patient. Granted, he's still, in his rookie year, technically, in the amount of games he started. I think it was his 12th game starting or something like that against Miami, and he's still inexperienced. He's very inexperienced. The same thing is with Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson has also played bad, but, these quarterbacks, with the inexperience that they have, they need time. They need time to develop. They need time to learn and see if they can figure it out. If Will Levis still sucks by week 15, okay, that's fine. We kind of know what we have. You kind of know what you got. But, likewise, he could get better. He could improve. That's always a possibility. Do I think, like I said, it's not going to end up in a playoff push, but things can get better. So maybe I'm going to pump my brakes a little bit and try and remain patient with Will Levis. Because thinking about 2023 Jordan Love and 2022 Trevor Lawrence, they needed some patience, they needed some time, and they didn't really get the time from the fans, but the coaches did, the team did, and it provided fruit for that year at least with Trevor Lawrence. You know me and my prominent dogging on Trevor Lawrence. But we'll dog Trevor Lawrence on Rants 10. We'll dog him a little bit more there. Check that out immediately after this video, by the way. But for the Titans, they win. But that's enough talking about Titans. We got to talk about the Dolphins here, because the Dolphins are now 1-3. And if you're Mike McDaniel, you got to be hitting the panic button, because this team is going nowhere fast, and they're in free fall right now. And you guys could really use a guy like Tua right now. You guys really could use a quarterback like Tua right now. And if it isn't stated enough, well, if you didn't think Tua was valuable to this team as it was, you thought, system quarterback. Well, nope. This offense is completely catered to Tua, because no other quarterback in Miami's been able to run it effectively. And I've said it before, you take away the deep element of the Miami Dolphins passing attack, and this offense can't do anything. And with Tua tonight, Tyreek Hill got free a couple times down the field. Tua hits those passes. Tyler Huntley's not hitting those, but Tua's hitting those. And Tua right now is greatly missed for the Miami Dolphins. They need him back as soon as possible. Let him get healthy, of course. Don't rush a concussion back. Don't do that, for the love of God. But right now, I mean, the Dolphins need him. The Dolphins need him, and he's valuable. If you want to see the value to Tua Tagovailoa for the Dolphins, here it is. Without Tua, this team is an absolute train wreck. And granted, there's injuries all across the team right now, but Jesus Christ. This team is not making the playoffs right now. If they lose next week, I can't remember who they face. They face the Patriots. I know they face the Patriots on Sunday night or Thursday night football, I think, something like that. No. Falcons and Bucks are playing right now. What am I talking about? Either way, they're playing the Patriots next week. And, right now, we'll talk about it later on in the show, but the Patriots might have an upset. This game is an upset watch right now. But for the Dolphins, they need to find a way to get a win. They got to find a way to get a win without Tua, because right now, without Tua, they're 0-3. They're 0-3, and honestly, they're on a verge from being 0-4, because they lost to Jacksonville, or they beat Jacksonville really tight. It was a really close game. And the Dolphins got to get it back together. If they don't here soon, then this Dolphins team will be going nowhere fast. But other than that, this game was very ugly. As I said, there was five field goals. There's like 8 field goals, 9 field goals in this game. It was a mess. But before I leave and go to the Seahawks and the Lions, you want to hear a crazy stat? So the Tennessee Titans scored 31 points in this game. When was the last time the Titans have scored 30 points? I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it. Drop it down in the comments now. Lock your guesses in. I'm going to take a sip of water. My room's getting hot. My water bottle just leaked and I got water all over my shorts. That sucks. Well, when was the last time the Titans scored 30 points in a game? All right. Are your answers in? They better be. So here's the answer. The answer was week 16 or week 16 or week 17. I think it was week 16. Yeah, week 16 or week 17 of the 2021 season, or more specifically, January of 2022, when they beat the Miami Dolphins, coincidentally enough, 34-3. That was the last time the Titans scored 30 points in a game. You know how many days that was on Monday night when they played that game? It had been 1,002 days. Literally just a hair above 1,000 days since the Tennessee Titans have scored 30 points in a game. Now, that is a very depressing stat. And one that was broken with a backup quarterback and a game plan that was literally just run the ball into the ground and don't throw the ball and limit the turnovers. Titans broke that curse. That's pretty cool to see, given the circumstances, but Titans got to bye next week. Dolphins got to go to the Patriots next week. And these two teams watching for the little while now, it's going to be a little bit interesting to see how well these teams bounce back from their situations. But that's enough talking about this game. I'm kind of ragging on with these, but I'm going to try and make this one better. I just opened up my keyboard. But the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football beat the Seattle Seahawks 42-29. And before I talk about the Lions and how well they played, shout out to the Detroit Lions and their alternate uniforms. They look beautiful. They're absolutely incredible. God, they look so good on TV too. Jesus Christ, they're awesome. They're shiny. They're clean. So nice that they brought them back and they look incredible. But you know what else is incredible about the Detroit Lions? Jared Goff. This man is insane. He's insane. Went 18 for 18, 292 yards, threw it for a touchdown pass, and the man caught a touchdown pass. This dude's incredible. Say what you want about Jared Goff and his talent ceiling and saying, oh, he's a mid-tier quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Definitively. He's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, especially right now. He is most certainly a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What quarterback in the NFL is going for 18 for 18? Tell me who. Who? No one's done it yet. I'm not saying he's the best. But good God, he's top 10. You got to start giving Jared Goff the respect he deserves, man. He went crazy in this game. The touchdown pass he caught was beautiful. threw it out to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He threw it across the other. He was on the right side of the field, threw it to the left side to Jared Goff, who was open. Got the Seahawks defender there running with his hands out in front of him like a Minecraft zombie. It was pretty hilarious, but it was awesome. And not only that, the running game was great again. Jahmyr Gibbs led the front. He had like 93 yards, I think, and a touchdown. David Montgomery had 50. And the thing with this offense is explosion. The one touchdown pass Jared Goff threw was to Jameson Williams. It was like a 70-plus yard touchdown. And I told you guys, when Jameson Williams came back, they drafted him because he adds an element to the Lions offense that simply wasn't there when he wasn't there. And that's a vertical element that can threaten defenses over the top. That's why you drafted him, because he has the long speed. He's shifty. Perfect complement to the type of X receiver that Amon-Ra St. Brown is. And this offense, as I also said before the season started, was going to get better, and it is better. It is better. This offense is so much better. And I said it because this team is going to have more time to it's going to gel. It's another year under the belt for them. Their young players, Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, are all going to step up, and they have all stepped up. They've all played great. David Montgomery is already great. Amon-Ra St. Brown is already great. Jared Goff is already great. This offensive line is already great. This offense is almost perfect. It's almost perfect. Like, literally watching the offense for the Detroit Lions play football, it's amazing. It's just perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's incredible. Like, I know I'm kind of gawking and glazing right now, like a Krispy Kreme donut. If you don't know, you need to go watch that video where I said that. I can't remember where I said that, but it just popped into my head. But man, this offense is great. This offense is great, and I know they just scored 42 points, and I know they had lost to the Bucs in week 2 where they didn't look so great. But man, oh man, am I glad that Ben Johnson stayed. I'm glad that Ben Johnson decided to stay another year in Detroit as the offensive coordinator. And wow, just wow. This is why I have the Lions going to the Super Bowl. Because this offense is just so freaking good. It's so fun to watch. You have all the elements you want. Although, here's the thing. This defense. Enough glazing the offense for a little bit. Let's talk about defensively. Defensively, they still allowed 29 points. And it's still a mixed bag. The defense is still inconsistent. But here's the thing. It's always been that way since Dan Campbell's been the head coach. And straight up, with the offense playing how it's playing, I'm not going to worry about this defense right now. I'm not going to worry about it because this offense is great. And I don't have to worry about this defense being a liability until it becomes a liability. And I know that's kind of a redundant statement because, like, obviously, yeah, it's not a liability until it becomes a liability. But here's the thing. As long as the Lions offense can score points like that, they're winning football games. I had them going 13-4, and remember, I said the Lions are on a vengeance, and they are definitely on a vengeance, beating up on the Seattle Seahawks. And with the Seattle Seahawks, they failed the test. Now, did they actually fail the test? No. But this is the first good team they actually went up against, and they did not perform well. Here's the thing. I'll give a shout out to Kenneth Walker. He had 12 carries for 80 yards. He had 3 touchdowns this game, 6.7 a pop. And DK Metcalf had another great game. He was a little bit up and down. He had a fumble there that was pretty bad. But the big name of this game, obviously, was that the Seahawks defense was a letdown. These first few weeks, the Seahawks defense has played much, 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 much better than it has in the past couple of years. And that's a big credit to Mike McDonald, the new head coach in Seattle. They brought him in because this defense needed help, and he's giving it the help that they needed. They've played great the first 3 weeks. This week was a massive letdown, but here's the thing. This is, like I said, this is the first good team that they've gone up against. And you want to say they failed the test? Sure. But as I said with the Buffalo Bills and then the Baltimore Ravens defense, one game doesn't make or break the season. Like one bad performance, one good performance doesn't invalidate everything else that's been done or invalidate everything else that's been done. It's another one of those things where, don't panic. Don't panic. I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to be just fine. the way that their offense is playing right now and the way the defense has played for the most part the first 3 weeks, right now the Seahawks are the best team in the division. They are. They are right now. I mean, San Francisco is, walking on crutches at the moment. The Rams, I don't know what the heck's happening with the Rams, and the Cardinals, well, they're not great right now. They're not very good. So right now it's the Seahawks that are up front, and you can see why. I mean, I know that this defense let down this game. I'll say it, I've already said it multiple times. I've repeated myself a ton on this show, and really, but that's the thing. Don't panic. This defense is good. I think it's fine. But what a great game for the Detroit Lions and their offense on Monday Night Football, beating Seattle Seahawks. But we got to conclude the show talking about or previewing NFL Week 5. And I just locked my I just knocked my tablet over. Set that back down right there. Last week, I said it when I was previewed Week 4 that I was feeling more confident with my picks, and I was right. Last week, I went 11-5, and for the first time this year, I have a winning record picking games where you're 34-31, and man, does that feel good. This Week 4 bounce back is incredible. It makes me feel good, but this week, I'm feeling a little bit more iffy because we got a lot of games to watch, like a lot of 50-50 games this week. And the first one is the game that's playing right now as I'm recording this, and it's the Bucs at the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday Night Football. And I haven't watched the game at all, but give me the Bucs to win this game. Why? Because the Bucs offense has been great. It's been really, really, really freaking good. And the Bucs defense has also been very good. The Bucs are simply the most consistent team in this division right now. Outside of that one blowout to the Broncos, this team has been great. This team has been absolutely great. And right now they've played like the best division or the best team in that division. The Falcons have been up and down. The Saints have been up and down, and the Panthers, outside of the one game against the Raiders, they've been horrible. So there's not much to say there. But give me the Bucs to win this game. I like their consistency. I like how well their offense is playing. It'll give a good, solid challenge to this defense for the Falcons, and likewise, vice versa with the Falcons' offense and the Bucs' defense. But right now, I have more faith in the Bucs' offense to get it done. So give me the Bucs to win this game. Next, we go to London. The first London game of the year is going to be performed. It's going to be played at 9:30 in the morning Eastern time. Jets, technically at the Minnesota Vikings. The schedule says it's technically a home game for the Vikings, but they're in London, so take that for what you will. But right now, I have the Vikings winning this game. I have them winning this game. They're 4-0. Their defense is playing great. Offense is playing great. And right now, the Jets are all out of this. They're a whole lot of up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So, I mean, I don't know what to make of them at the moment. And the Vikings, we know what to make of them. They're great. They're incredible. They're the only NFC team that's 4-0. They're only one of 2 teams that are 4-0 right now. Give me the 4-0 team to win against the 2-2 and inconsistent New York Jets. But I will say though, the Jets, like I said, they've been up and down. I just hit my hat. This could be a game where the Jets decide that they want to go up. This could be that game. Something tells me that this game is going to be close. Something tells me that this game is going to be a lot better than I think people are realizing it to be. So keep an eye out for this game because this could be very, very interesting very quickly. This next game is the Carolina Panthers at the Chicago Bears. And give me the Bears to win this game. Caleb Williams in this offense is better than the Panthers' offense. At least I would hope it is. And the Bears' defense is better. But here's the thing. The Carolina Panthers, they're just not a good football team. They had that one win against the Raiders a couple weeks ago where, Andy Dalton came in. Bryce Young got benched. Dalton played incredible. It was fun. But they fell back down to earth against Cincinnati. But here's the thing. The Carolina Panthers, this is going to be a competitive football game because these offenses aren't consistent enough. The defense, you can say what you want about the Panthers defense. The Bears defense has been pretty good. But here's the thing. The Panthers traded away a ton of stuff to Chicago to trade up to go get Bryce Young first overall. And Bryce Young is no longer the starter. And in return, the Bears were able to get Caleb Williams. And I think the Panthers are about to see that they made the wrong decision, more than they already have. Given that the Bears have slowly improved throughout the first 4 weeks of the year, give me the Bears to win this game. I feel more comfortable picking the Bears to win than I would the Carolina Panthers. But this next game, the Ravens at the Bengals, I'm picking the Ravens to win this game. I think they're a better football team right now, considering the Bengals are 0-4. But here's the thing. They got their first win last week. They got some momentum. T. Higgins is back. This offense should be better against a Baltimore Ravens defense that has shown that it can be vulnerable at certain times. And for the Ravens, they have an opportunity here to take advantage of a depleted, I almost said Broncos, Bengals defense that's missing DJ Reed, that's missing, oh my God, I can't remember the other defensive tackle that they're missing at the moment. But overall, this defense is underachieved. The secondary has been very vulnerable. And I think there's an opportunity for the Ravens to pick at it a little bit. You know, kind of like a Raven, kind of just going pick. Just kind of just picking there and getting their meal slowly but surely and just beat them down. I think that's how it's going to be. This game is going to be tight throughout the first half and third quarter, but the fourth quarter, I think the Ravens pull away, get a touchdown, maybe get a field goal as well, and kind of just at the late end, just kind of get their meal slowly, pecking, looking at a little seed here and there. And eventually they'll be full and they'll have a victory on their hands. But for the Bengals, they have an opportunity to turn this thing around if this offense can take advantage of the Ravens defense. But here's the thing. If the Bengals lose, they do truly lose and they fall to 1-4, we might have to have some conversations about the Cincinnati Bengals, depending on how well they play at least. I think if this game is one of the best games of the year, then by all means, we don't got to talk about that. But if the Bengals get blown out, conversations might have to be made about what they need to do going forward. Next up, this is probably my most interesting game of the week. And it's the Bills going to the Houston Texans. And here's the thing. The Texans just came off a really close win against Jacksonville. The only 0-4 team right now in the NFL. And we talked about it last week. The Texans, they've been susceptible to penalties. They've been susceptible defensively. And you're going up against Josh Allen, who just got blown out 35-10. That dude's going to be mad. That dude's going to be angry. And you don't want to face angry Josh Allen. Angry Josh Allen will pick your defense apart and absolutely wreck it. And because of that, give me the Bills to win this game. I think it's going to be too much for the Texans defense to handle. And while I think the Texans are going to put up their fair share of points, no doubt in my mind that's going to happen. This offense for Houston's incredible. I just think the Bills' offense is a little bit better. I think it's just a little bit better. It's a little bit more consistent. Give me the Bills to win this game, but this is going to be the best game of the week. This will be a game that you guys have to watch. This one is going to be the best game of the week. I'm almost willing to put money on it. But please, if you're going to bet money on it, don't come blaming me. I just said you probably should. I might say you should definitely. Don't rely on me for betting on sports. Please don't. But moving on, got to go to the Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Give me the Colts to win this game. Here's the thing. If Joe Flacco starts this week, they're going to win. If Anthony Richardson starts this game, this Jaguars team that's 0-4 has a chance. They have a chance to win because Anthony Richardson is the second most turnover-prone quarterback in the NFL right now. He has 8 turnovers on the year, only behind Titans' Will Levis. And, a lot of the things I talked about with Will Levis, same thing can apply to Anthony Richardson. Very inexperienced, needs time. And the thing is, the investment is more there because he's a first-round pick, top 5 pick, mind you. But here's the thing. Even if Anthony Richardson plays, this is a game where, either team needs to show that they can step up. Whether it's Jacksonville stepping up and upsetting the Colts to get their first win of the year, or Anthony Richardson starts and going up against a bad defense, he needs to show that he can play better. And as I said, if Joe Flacco starts, the Colts are winning objectively. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But this game is interesting to watch. This game is, like I said, this week is going to be a bunch of interesting games because depending on who plays for the Colts, this could go either way. But right now, I think Joe Flacco is going to play, to my understanding. And if that's the case, give me the Colts to win. Next up, we talked about it before, but the Dolphins are going to New England to face the New England Patriots. And give me the Dolphins to win this game. Why? Because the Dolphins, even without Tua, are a more talented football team. But heads up, this is upset territory. This is big upset territory. Because here's the thing. Despite the Dolphins offense Dolphins team having a much more talented roster, they've looked like crap without Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. Now, with Tyler Huntley having a little bit more continuity, if you won't even want to say that, he's now there 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks. You want to say they're going to bounce back? Sure. But this Patriots defense, while it's been inconsistent, at best, it's shown that it can be very stingy. It's shown that despite the talent around that side of the ball, that they can be some stingy, annoying pieces of you-know-what to go up against. The Patriots defense is going to try their hardest to make it not easy. And that's why I think there could be an upset watch here. Because I think if you're Jacoby Brissett and the Patriots on offense, if you can get your running backs going, I think you can win this game. Because if you look at how well the Titans ran the ball on them last week, if you can get Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson going, there's a chance you win this football game. There's a formula there for the Patriots to win, and I firmly believe there's a universe where the Patriots win this game. Do I think it's going to be there? No, unfortunately not. I think the Dolphins team overall is too talented to fall to 1-4. So give me the Dolphins to squeak out a win in New England against the Patriots. Next up, we got the Browns going to Washington to face the Commanders, and not much here to say. Commanders are winning this game. Jaden Daniels, he's the favorite to win Rookie of the Year right now, and I know this, Commanders defense is not that good, but you know what? The Browns offense is not very good either, and honestly, the Browns offense is worse than the Commanders defense is on that side of the ball. So simply put, for that, give me the Commanders to win this game. I'm riding with Washington for right now, as well as they played offensively. I have no qualms about picking the Commanders to win this game. Next up, the Raiders going to Denver to face the Broncos, and this is a battle of two completely different football teams in the sense of where people expected them to be. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know. I guess they are completely different in the sense that people thought the Broncos were going to be really, really bad, and people thought that the Raiders were going to be either a playoff contender or at least like a 7-10 team. I had them going 7-10. I'm not sold on the Raiders, and why is because they've been up and down. They've been up and down. They've had some good moments, and they've had some really bad moments too. And with the Broncos are just here along for the ride. They've been very competitive. They've been competitive in every game they've played in so far. And they've all been one-score games. Well, except for the blowout against Tampa. But here's the thing. The Broncos are winning more than 4 games than I had them projected. That's a fact. So at this point, it's a matter of who's got the hot hand. Right now, the Broncos have the hot hand. They've won 2 straight. They started off 0-2, one-score games, and guess what? They've won 2 straight. They beat a really good Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. They beat the New York Jets 10-9 and squeaked one out against them. And right now, I think the Broncos have the upper hand right now. The Raiders haven't been able to put anything consistently together over the first 4 weeks, and they just, I don't know, they look out of sync. They look out of order. Antonio Pierce talked about a QB change, which that's not good for your locker room. Granted, I don't know what it's like in there, so I'm not going to speak on it, like I know about it, but that's not good PR-wise. Right now, the Broncos I feel more comfortable taking this pick. Giving the Broncos to win this game against the Raiders and send Raiders fans into a small panic. But this one won't send people into a panic. The 49ers or Cardinals going to the 49ers, giving the 49ers to win, even with players being out. Prayers up to Christian McCaffrey. If you haven't known, he has Achilles tendonitis in both of his legs. He had to go to Germany to get emergency surgery, so praying that he is okay and he gets better soon. But this 49ers team is simply too talented. It's simply too talented on offense and defense despite the injuries. Give me the 49ers to win this game. The Cardinals, they've been good on offense, but defensively they've been, susceptible, for lack of a better word. But easily give me the 49ers, to win this game. I'm getting scared. So I'm sorry. I'm getting scared. I'm gonna get up and look at my phone and make sure that we're still recording. If it didn't, I'm gonna be upset. Okay, we're still recording. Let's go. Let's go. I'm starting to do that right on the show and jump off camera. But it happened to me. It happened to me in the last episode. I got scared. I want to make sure that we're all good to go. And also I need to get up and move around a little bit. Without any fans on in my room, recording with a bright light on. I'm sweating up a storm. Not really, but it's all good. Having to lean over and look like a distorted gremlin because I don't want water to drip on my shorts again. All right. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers at the Rams. And part of me is wanting me to second guess and change this from the Rams and picking the Packers to win. But honestly, I think the Rams can win this game because when their backs were against the wall at 0-2, they beat the 49ers. I know they lost last week to Chicago and what was a kind of a big upset to me. I mean, I think with their backs against the wall again, I think they can beat the Packers, taking advantage of the fact that Jordan Love is still coming back from his injury. Excuse me, I don't think he's going to be as rusty as he was before, obviously, having another game under his belt. But he's still getting into a rhythm, and it's his only third game. It's only the only third game he's played. The only third game. Oh my God, I can't talk. It's only his third game played this year. And with the Rams, I know Puka Nacua is still hurt. Cooper Kupp is still hurt, and that's going to hurt, especially going up against a Green Bay Packers defense, which is really good. But I think when their backs are against the wall, I think the Rams can turn out a win here. It's not going to be a very good game. It's going to be a very ugly game, but I think the Rams will pull this one out. And next up, we got the Giants going to Seattle to face the Seahawks. Give me the Seahawks to win this game easily because the Seahawks are a good football team and the Giants simply are not. The Giants, I know they beat the Browns in week 3, I think it was. Yeah, and they beat them in week 3. They were kind of competitive against the Cowboys, so there's some continuity there that you'd like to see as a Giants fan, but simply put, the Seattle Seahawks are too good. They're the best team in the NFC West right now, and for good reason. Their offense is playing out of their minds. This defense is playing much better than it has. And right now, the Giants have only one good game to put under their belts, and other than that, there's nothing else. The only thing that's really been consistent is Malik Neighbors. And the Seahawks have a defense to shut that down and put that away. And without Malik Neighbors, this Giants team is on offense is a whole lot of nothing burgers. So easily give me the Seahawks to win this game. But moving on, we got 3 primetime games. Never mind, 2 primetime games. I think the doubleheaders are done for this year, I'm pretty sure. But on Sunday Night Football, the Cowboys go to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. This is a classic game. Whenever these two teams face off, it's always a classic. It's always fun to see these guys play, or see these teams play against each other because of all the history. But give me the Steelers to win this game. The Steelers are inevitable. They're 3-1 right now. I know they lost to the Colts last week, but here's the thing. This defense is good. It's really good, as it always is. And the Steelers offense hasn't been boring, sure, but it's been productive. And that's the thing. You know what hasn't been productive? The Cowboys defense. The Cowboys defense is not that good at all. The Cowboys offense has been inconsistent. This entire Cowboys team has been inconsistent. And against the Steelers team that's more consistent, probably one of the most consistent teams in the NFL right now, give me the Steelers to win this game. I think this game is going to be a fun one for sure. It's always a fun game between these two teams. But I think the Steelers are going to pull this one out. There's no doubt in my mind that the Steelers are going to win this game. This is one that I'm very confident about. And then next up, we have the Saints at the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs to win this game. Right now, I'm picking the Chiefs to win every game until they show that they can, until the team beats them and show that they're susceptible somewhere. But the Chiefs will be without Rashee Rice. He's placed on IR, so he's going to be out the next 4 games, unfortunately, and he's been the one consistent spot on the Chiefs offense that's been producing. So we'll have to see who steps up for Kansas City in his absence. But for the Saints, big opportunity here to, kind of get back. You started off 2-0, really good start. You lost the next 2 games. Hasn't looked the best. The Saints right now are a mixed bag. They're a mixed bag right now, and I don't know what you're going to get going against the Kansas City Chiefs. But defensively, they're going to have a handful going up against Patrick Mahomes. And the last time these two teams faced off, the Chiefs kind of beat the ever-living crap out of them. So I'm not feeling too hot about the Saints right now. But the Chiefs are going to do Chiefs things. Give me the Chiefs to win this game. I probably should have mentioned it first. But we got 4 teams taking their first bye week of the year. Obviously, they're taking their first bye week. But we got the first round of bye weeks happening. And the Lions, Chargers, Eagles, and Titans are on a bye week in this for week 5. They will not be playing. So we will not be hearing or talking about them until next Wednesday. So for them, Lions and Titans, enjoy your victories this week. And for the Chargers and Eagles, get back to the drawing board and try and get better. But that is going to do it for me today. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to do what every YouTuber tells you to do. You know the drill. Like already, comment, subscribe to the channel, share the video, talk about it with your friends, talk about it with your family, get everybody locked in and locked on to the Shumake Take podcast, coming out with great content for you guys 3 days a week. And I will see you guys on Saturday for Shumake Take Rants 10 as we talk about my one word to describe every 32 NFL teams. And I will see you in the next one.